Welcome back to DJ Account Channel, my online community. Nice to have you here. As I promised on my previous video, I am here to help you determine your ovulation day. Isn't it exciting? Most women don't know how to count it, even though it's one of the safer forms of birth control. Knowing your ovulation day can help you conceive or avoid pregnancy, and even understand your body if ever you are aware of how to determine it. In this guide, we will show you how to identify the signs of ovulation and track your menstrual cycle to determine when ovulation occurs. Are you ready, girls? Let's get to it. Step 1. Understand the menstrual cycle. The menstrual cycle phase is a great first step in gaining a better understanding of your body. What is the menstrual cycle? The menstrual cycle is the monthly cycle of changes that a woman's body goes through in preparation for pregnancy. That menstruation is the entirety of your cycle, and once the bleeding subsides, it's over. However, a typical menstrual cycle is 28 days long. Of course, each woman experiences a unique experience, and menstrual flow may occur every 21 to 35 days depending on the individual. The menstrual cycle has 4 stages as well, which as women we should notice. What are those stages? Menstruation phase, the follicular phase, ovulation phase, and the luteal phase. What is happening in those phases? In the menstruation phase, which is the first phase in the cycle, your uterine lining sheds in the first day, and you bleed is considered day 1 of the menstrual cycle. Also known as your period, this phase usually lasts anywhere from 3 to 7 days. This phase begins when an egg from a previous cycle isn't fertilized. Because the thickened lining of your uterus, which is what would support pregnancy, is no longer needed, it sheds through your vagina. During your menstruation phase, you may experience symptoms such as cramped sore and tender breasts, irritability and mood swings, bloating, fatigue, acne. Phase 2, out of the 4 menstrual cycle phases, is the follicular phase. In this phase, your pituitary gland, located underneath your brain, releases a hormone called follicle-stimulating hormone, FSH. FSH helps control the menstrual cycle and stimulates the growth of eggs in the ovaries. The follicular phase begins on a woman's first day of menstruation and goes until the beginning of ovulation. During this phase, a woman's estrogen will rise as it prepares an egg to be released. The follicles in the ovary develop and mature in response to hormone signals. Because of this, some women may experience higher energy levels, clearer skin, and an increased sex drive. Next phase is ovulation, which is phase 3. About midway through the menstrual cycle phases, women will go through ovulation. Ovulation is when an egg is released from the ovaries into the fallopian tube. This is the only time you can become pregnant during your menstrual cycle. If you want to conceive, understanding the ovulation phase is crucial. The fertile window usually occurs 10-16 days before your next period, but can vary. Some symptoms of ovulation include white discharge, slightly elevated basal body temperature, abdominal cramps, breast tenderness. Phase 4 is the luteal phase. The luteal phase begins after the ovulation phase. During this time, the uterine lining is thick and ready for a fertilized egg to implant. This is also when the ovaries produce a hormone called progesterone, which prepares the uterus for pregnancy. If you become pregnant, the fertilized egg will attach to the thickened lining. If you don't get pregnant, the uterine wall will shed, resulting in a woman getting her period. After the luteal cycle is complete, the menstruation phase begins, and the cycle repeats itself until menopause. As you are aware of those important phases, now it's a must to know how to track it. Let's continue. Step 2. Track your menstrual cycle. To determine your ovulation day, you need to track your menstrual cycle. You can do this by keeping a menstrual calendar or using a fertility app that tracks your cycles. Mark down the first day of your period on the calendar and count the number of days until your next period. This will give you the length of your menstrual cycle. You will need to track your cycles for a few months, at least 3 months in a row to get an average length. Step 3. Identify signs of ovulation. Signs of ovulation can vary from woman to woman. Here are a few common signs. Change in cervical mucus. The cervical mucus becomes more slippery, clear, and stretchy to help the sperm travel to the egg. Basal body temperature, BBT, changes. Your BBT will be slightly lower before ovulation and then rise by about 0.5 to 1 degree after ovulation. Ovulation pain. Some women experience a sharp pain in the lower abdomen during ovulation. Positive ovulation test. You can use an ovulation test kit to detect the rise of luteinizing hormone, LH, in your urine, which indicates that ovulation is about to occur. Step 4. Calculate your ovulation day. Once you have tracked your menstrual cycle and identified the signs of ovulation, you can calculate your ovulation day. Here's how. Count back 14 days from the end of your menstrual cycle. For example, if your cycle is 28 days, you ovulate on day 14. If your cycle is 26 days, you ovulate on day 12. If your cycle is 24 days, you ovulate on day 10, and so on. Use the signs of ovulation to confirm if ovulation has occurred. For example, if your basal body temporal has risen, you have experienced a positive ovulation test, and your cervical mucus has changed, you have likely ovulated. That will be all for today, my dearest. Hopeful this video is informative enough to help you through. Determining your ovulation day is essential for conception or contraception. By tracking your menstrual cycle, identifying signs of ovulation, and calculating your ovulation day, you can determine the most fertile days of your menstrual cycle. Plus, you can use it to get pregnant easily or to prevent it. Remember to consult a healthcare professional for any concerns or questions related to your menstrual cycle. If ever you have questions or concerns or need help to better understand, please don't hesitate to leave your questions below in the comment. Thank you for being here again. Don't forget to subscribe, like for more videos like this one, and specially share to help others. See you in the next video. Thank you.